Hello everyone. Today we are going to do a demo using serverless data analysis with Dataflow. And we would use some side inputs. It would be in Python. But the idea here, the overall goal of this objective of this demo is to learn how we can load data into BigQuery, how we can run complex queries, how we can execute a Dataflow pipeline and then carry out map and reduce operations, use them as a side input and stream it into BigQuery. In terms of steps, we will use BigQuery as our data source into Dataflow. And we'll see results of a pipeline as a side input to another pipeline. Essentially, we are going to read data from BigQuery into Dataflow and use output of a data pipeline as a side input to another pipeline. Having said that, let's get started with the initial setup just to make sure we have our account and project ID configured properly. So let me go ahead and activate Cloud Shell. I'll go ahead and click on continue while the Cloud Shell is starting up. Let me verify the student account. So we have account details here properly verified. Let me look at project ID to make sure I have my project ID configured properly. As you can see, I have my project ID configured properly. I have my active configuration of the Cloud Shell, and I have my project ID configured properly. So we are good here. Let me try to clone data set because let me first open my editor. So if you see here right now, I don't have any file or folder available here. So let me go back to my terminal and let me pull training data analyst folder. So then once this is done, when we toggle back to our editor, we would have a folder created there with training data analyst, and it would have all the information available in the folder. Now let me go back and look at the editor. So if you see here, we have this training data analyst folder created. It has all the relevant information within the folder. Let me go back to my terminal. Now let us go back and look at the cloud storage to see if we have our storage bucket available. If not, we'll have to create one. So we go to browser. So we don't have our storage bucket created here. So we'll have to go ahead and we'll have to create a storage bucket. First of all, we'll have to go to our home. We'll have to copy this ID because this is what we would be using to create our storage bucket. So let's go to storage, let's go to browser. Let's click on create bucket. We'll have that as multi-region, location is fine. Fine again. Okay, so let's go ahead and right now it is creating the bucket information. So bucket is created here. Now let's set the configuration for our bucket. So we have to set this information. Now let us see whether we are whether we have configured our bucket properly or not. So we have our bucket configured properly. Let us verify the project ID here. So let us verify the project. Let us verify dev shell project ID information here to see if we have our project ID properly configured, and we do have our project ID properly configured. Let's go ahead and see if our Dataflow API is properly configured. So we'll go here, home, API, dashboard. We will have to quickly go ahead and look at Dataflow API. So click on Dataflow API. Dataflow API is enabled, so we are good here. Let us verify if we have Apache Beam installed properly. So let me go to my terminal and see if I have my configuration installed properly. So right now we are installing all the required libraries for Apache Beam. So it will take a minute or two. So let's give it some time. Do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. Okay, so I have installed all the required folders. Now let me go back and open BigQuery interface. So if you look at big data, BigQuery, big data, BigQuery. Okay. Now let me get the query. So if you see here, my query is going to pull 12.2 GB of data when run. It is a validated query. Let me go ahead and run the data. So right now I'll just get 10 records first. Let me go ahead and run the query. So you see, these are all the information that I have pulled in here. Now let me try to limit the query. Let us just get the counts here first. Okay, so we have almost 2 million records. Now the important point here is the query will process 0 MB when run. Why is that the case? Because BigQuery stores common metadata about the table, like row count. So when you're trying to issue a count query, you're just getting the metadata information, and we're not actually running any query behind the scene. Now let me go back. Let me go back to my editor here. Let me go back to my Python folder. Let me see all the files that I have here. Let me to nano Java project help.py. So you're having a bunch of different input. As you can see here, this is a Dataflow pipeline that demonstrates Python use of side inputs. The pipeline finds Java packages on GitHub that are popular and B need help. Popularity is use of the package in a lot of other projects and is determined by counting the number of times the package appears in the import statement. Needing help is determined by counting the number of times the package contains the word fix me or to do in its source. So that is the set of information that we have here. So okay, we are splitting this package. We already know what we are doing here. Line, we are returning the get packages. We are getting the use of the packages. Okay. Package total use, total triple length. So we are doing flat map here. We are predicting a row count. We are then combining per key. So basically we are writing a combiner for package help. If record is not none, we are splitting the record. If record has fixed or to do in the line, we are incrementing the count and we are packaging it. Flat map filter. Okay, we are calculating the final score and then we are giving composite score to each project, and then we are argument parser, demonstrate side inputs, project details. Okay, we have direct runner, bucket, ops bucket. Okay, so we are passing this information. Okay, we are giving runner information, all these arguments. Okay, we are doing big collection, BigQuery collection here. We are doing flat map. We are getting the scores, and then essentially we are writing to storage, and then we are running it. Okay, very good. So let me find the bucket information here. So we do echo. We have that information. Dev shell project ID. Okay, we have that information. So now let me go back to executing this pipeline. So I'm here. Okay. And this is how I will be executing my pipeline. So this, I'm executing my pipeline. So behind the scene, it would go ahead and see what kind of projects would need help. So let me go back to my APIs dashboard. Data. Dataflow API. Okay, so you see here my job ran successfully. So let us go to storage. Storage browser. So this is the bucket that I had created. Overview, permission, bucket log. Okay. You see here Java folder that we have created, and it has the result. So let me open this. You see, so this is all the folders, all the repository that it's pulling the information from. Okay, now let's Let's go back and execute this in Cloud Shell. Let me open my Cloud Shell one more time. So now we are creating Dataflow runner. So we are creating that job behind the scene for Dataflow. Now we can go ahead to our Dataflow. If you click on job, we have this job that we created. So now you see here, we have this job. The job is running, Java help job. Now you can see the graph that you have this feed from BigQuery. That job is running. Package use, that's a function. Package help, it's a function. Total help, total use, drop zero. So these are the functions that that are running right now. So let's give it a few more minutes. It is using Apache Beam 3.7 SDK, US Central 1 zone. Right now it is taking 2 minutes and 5 seconds, 6 seconds. You are using 3 CPUs. You have 11.25 GB of current memory. Max you can go is still 750 GB. And these are your pipeline information. You have your Dataflow runner, project information, job name. Let me go back and see what is the status of the job. It's still running. Okay, portion of job is completed. So let's give it a few more minutes. Hopefully it would be done. Let me maximize this information. So you see here, job has spent approximately 9 seconds while trying to read data from BigQuery. It's going through different steps in the process. Now, if you want to look at the job metrics, these are the number of current workers, target workers, what percentage of CPU utilization, what job is taking, worker error counts if there are any. Let's go and look at the job log. So here we have job logs. It has all the information about how your job is performing, what are the different kind of steps job is taking. This one gives you a view for your worker logs and see what kind of issues are happening behind the scene. And here if you have any kind of error reporting. So your job graph would give you, whenever you are issuing a query or whenever you're running a data flow job, your job graph behind the scene would create a graphical view about different steps involved in your job. And it would give you a pictorial representation of what is the current state, what portion of jobs have been completed, and what are still running, and how much data we are analyzing at each stage. Let's give it a few more minutes. It would take some time to finish running. Meanwhile, that is running. Let us go through this file here. What is happening? So here it is trying to pull all the information about what are the different steps happening behind the scene. You see all this data flow runner Python file, the API client, data flow, version 1b3 client type, and it gives you error information if there are any kind of error. So you also have an API to log that information. Let's give it a few more minutes. So if you see here, we have read from BigQuery job that succeeded, package help got succeeded, package use got succeeded, total help, total use, drop zero, top, and then got succeeded, and scores got succeeded, and write to storage got succeeded. So our job is complete now. It's still trying to do some wrap up things here, but essentially our job is successful. We can quickly look at the logs to see what is happening, why job is still running, what is happening. So you see here, it has finished operation. They are trying to stop worker pool right now. So we don't have any other threads running this processes. So just give it a few minutes. Let me see if we have any other information on worker pool. No, worker pool completed all the job items. Job, it's still trying to stop the worker pool. Job reporting error, we don't have any information here. While this is running, we can go back to storage. Storage, okay, storage, browser. So you see here, we have created two files, Java help. So this one gives you details about gives you details about the log file and everything for your specific Java job. So if you go here on staging, you click on this. This is a tar file, that's an SDK pickled main session. What is this? And then we have pipeline information file. Okay. Now let's go back to our data flow, big data, data flow job. Now, if you see here, this job is succeeded. Look at the job worker pool stopped. Nothing running here. You click on job here. Go back to see here, it is succeeded. Job took 11 minutes to finish. It has successfully completed all the stages of the job. You can click on any specific stage and see step worker log. So you see here, you can precisely go in and look what is happening at each different step here. Deleting the existing file in the target path, deleting the size, starting the size estimation of the input. Similarly, if you want to go ahead and look at the score generation portion, you can click on that, look at the server log, step worker log. We don't have any information here, so we were not doing any kind of logging there. So that's the overall end-to-end goal here, if you want to see. So let me reiterate what was the objective and what we did. The objective of this demo was to showcase how to use BigQuery as a data source for data flow, and how to use result of a pipeline as a side input for another pipeline. Essentially, we did two things. We read data from BigQuery into Dataflow. We used the output of a data pipeline as a side input to another pipeline. So with that, let me know if there are any other questions. If not, we can conclude our demo here. Thank you.